What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And I run a Canadian clothing brand here called K-Bud that's doing well into the six figures in sales. And I've been running my brand for about 6 years now. So I help clothing brands like yours get really good results. What I want to share with you in this video is the true importance of patience inside of growing your clothing brand. There's a great saying, patience is not the ability to wait. It's the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. And what I hope to instill inside of you in this video is this good attitude while waiting, while working on your brand, and while being patient growing your brand, because I think that it's incredibly important in getting you to the end result. So I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. And if designs are something that you're not that good at, I really recommend that you try them out. These designs smash on my website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. I started up my clothing brand back in 2016, and I want to share with you this story really quickly of just the slow growth that I've experienced and the change in my mentality around growing a successful brand as the years went on, from the heart, from my experience, because I think that this is something that I wish I'd heard in the early stages while I was growing my own brand. Okay, I would have been much more patient, I would have been much more relaxed, I would have made much smarter decisions while growing my brand back then. In 2016, when I first started up my brand, my mentality was that either the clothing brand is successful and it takes off, or it doesn't and it fails. And when I launched in 2016, I was literally expecting that my brand was just gonna go crazy. It was gonna take off, everybody was gonna wear it. And the first year in 2016, it didn't go like that at all. I literally only sold to friends at parties and to family members, and I hadn't really sold much to strangers at all that year, people that I didn't know. And the first year growing my brand was the least patient year for me, because I didn't understand that you can grow slowly over time and over the seasons. That's something that I wish I knew at the time. I would have just been so much more relaxed and enjoying the journey and just sort of trusting the whole process and accepting that things don't have to be perfect right from the beginning. You can make adjustments as you go. So I really want you to understand how bizarre it is for me sitting here today, about 6 years in, doing $70,000 months when the whole first year growing my brand, we only did a few $1,000s worth of sales. Okay? Like, I just want to share this message with you from the heart that it's shocking to me, like truly shocking to me, how far I've come and how much progress I've made in 5 or 6 years. I'm about 5.5 years into growing all of this. Because 5.5 years really isn't even that long. But obviously, while you're in it, while you're in the thick of it, it feels like a long time. Like a year feels like a long time, but it's really not. And just from small steps, like literally not worrying too much about the future and all of that stuff, but just making small improvements year after year, like literally year after year, not even month to month, because I've had months where I don't make any progress at all, like literally months where there's no progress at all, but just the years after years, getting from barely making any sales at all, really struggling, a YouTube channel that doesn't have any subscribers, that nobody's really watching, a clothing brand that nobody's really buying, to 2 years in, 3 years in, some people are buying the clothing. You know, it's kind of moving a little bit, but it's not like flying off the shelves. Maybe 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Got a little following going because people are kind of interested in my journey and I'm sharing some advice on what's working for me with my clothing brand. To a few more years later, like 2 or 3 years later, just still doing it, working on it, being consistent with it, and trying your best to make improvements and learn. $70,000 a month for my clothing brand, absolutely smashing it on this YouTube channel. You know, in terms of views, in terms of helping people, in terms of just the growth that I've experienced in both of my businesses here. And God, I wish I could just go back in time and tell myself, man, just stick to the process and you'll eventually get there. Like, it's okay if you're 2 years into your clothing brand right now. I'm just going to tell you, 2 or 3 years into your clothing brand and you're still struggling and you're not making that many sales. Okay, like you're still only doing like $1,000 or $2,000 in sales a month. It's fine, because all that you need to do is just be willing to make changes, make improvements, and just think outside the box and get creative and try things out. As long as you're patient and you stick to the process, you will eventually get there when other people will just give up. There's a saying, patience is the companion of wisdom. The reason why it's the companion of wisdom is because it's something that can only truly be understood and internalized through experience. Like, unless you've actually spent multiple years trying to build something and you finally realize after 5 or 6 years that it was all worth it and that you can actually improve over multiple years, it's really hard to internalize this lesson. And just one thing to mention here, one thing that's kind of shocking about all this is just the sheer number of mistakes that I made over the multiple years that I've been doing this. Like, I come on here, I talk like Mr. Guru dude who like knows everything that he's talking about. But the truth is that the journey was so unbelievably sloppy. And I've had months where I just made such horrible decisions, years where I wasn't working very smart. Now in hindsight, it's like, what the hell was I even thinking? But that is all a part of this process, and it's all a part of being patient. That's the reason why you should be patient, is because you don't realize how crazy the decisions are that you're making right now until you realize that it's not working, you change it up, and then 2 years later you look back and be like, what was I thinking at that time? And it takes time in order for you to really understand that. In economics, there's a term called time horizon. And the time horizon is how long something should take before it delivers, before you reach its outcome, before it starts producing results. And in the fashion industry, trying to grow a clothing brand, the time horizon is exceptionally long. It's supposed to take time. It's the natural process of all of this is that it's going to take many years in order for you to network, meet the right people, learn the right things, just have the process of word of mouth kick in and start working for you. You know, having repeat customers. In order to get repeat customers, you need to get customers in the first place, which takes some time. And it's not like people are going to be ordering every week. So you really have to be patient with all of this. And patience is bitter. It hurts, right? It can be devastating sometimes to not have the results that you want right now that you were expecting. And all of this is sort of rewiring your brain as you experience it to understand that, hey, maybe I need to have a different perspective on this. Maybe I need to be a little bit more humble, a little bit more grounded, and really keep working at this to build it over multiple years. And it's not just going to come to me, right? So patience is bitter, but the fruit is sweet. And as long as you just stick it out, you will eventually get there. So be wise, all right? Don't just give into your immediate thoughts that are trying to throw you off. They're trying to freak you out. It's your natural instinct kicking in that's saying, is this really right for me? Am I actually capable of doing all this? Maybe I should just give up. Don't give in to all that. Be wise. Recognize the bigger perspective in all of this, which is that for anybody of any skill set, growing their brand from the beginning, it's going to take time. It's going to take multiple years. And I'm telling you the honest truth here when I tell you that I'm 6 years in now, having these $70,000 months for my clothing brand. And throughout those 6 years to get to this point, dozens of times I told myself, maybe I should just give up. I should probably give up because I'm just not cut out for this, and I should develop some skill sets in some other industries because I just can't make this work and I'm a failure. I remember telling myself that multiple times. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I know that basically every single clothing brand owner and entrepreneur for that matter experiences this while growing their brand. And it's not until you've actually busted through those doubts and the sort of self-destructive thoughts, gotten through that, and then realized that you can actually accomplish it even with those and having experienced those on the other side of it, that you really gain the wisdom that all of this is really possible and that things just kind of take time. And just breathe. Like, give yourself years. This stuff doesn't happen in months or weeks. It takes years. And that's something that took a long time for me to understand. So I wanted to share that message with you. And I really hope that, number one, it just straight up calms you down. It allows you to recognize that we're all cut from the same cloth here and that you may be struggling right now, but it's possible for you to make adjustments. It's possible for you to make changes, for you to make tweaks. Just one little tweak can change your brand and the way that it's perceived and the results that you're getting. And it's these little tweaks over and over again, just small tweaks over the years, they create huge results in the long run. So I really hope that you enjoyed this and I really hope that it helps. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please hit the like button for me and let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.